Hello. I believe we're live. Hello, and welcome to the Best Today YouTube channel. I'm Shantae Grant, the creator and owner over at Best Today, where we are on a mission to equip you, women, or all people, with resources to be proactive and intentional with your time through planning and routine that centers you, who you are, what you want, with an emphasis on self awareness and self love. You can learn more about our products and our free content at besttodayguide.com or right here on our YouTube channel. If you are here today, say hello in the comments, whether you're watching in real time or on the replay, say hello so that I can see you. We're talking today about how to preview your weeks and your months, not in that order, your months and your weeks with ease. And I have a simple method for you that's going to help you really knock this out. I'm going to grab, oh, no, they're right here. So I say grab my notes. I have them. And we're going to get started. Okay. Just want to make sure you're in the right place. Hello, everyone who's watching live. Hello, hello. Okay. So I have one word, 4 letters for you to help you remember what I teach today. So all you have to do, if you can remember these 4 letters and what they stand for, you're going to be golden. I'm going to turn my lamp on. But before we get to that today, I want to talk about why we're going to talk about the importance of previewing your week and what I mean by previewing your week. So when I say preview your month or preview your week before the week or month begins, what I mean is we're going to get an overview of what is to come that you're currently aware of, right? This includes appointments, meetings, dates, deadlines, birthdays, events, things that are going on, holidays, time off, school closings, all of these things we're thinking about previewing our month. We want to get an overview, and I'm looking down because I'm thinking as you look over the month, you just want to get an idea of this is what is already written in stone, or these are the things that are already in place. And having that to look at, giving you that overview every month is going to be so helpful to you, so therapeutic once you start making this a practice. And the same thing goes for our weeks. I'm going to teach you the same method. They apply equally to months and weeks, but a little bit differently because we're looking at 2 different things. We're talking about looking at your month and your week. So why is previewing your month and previewing your week so important? I'm so glad you asked. I'm going to tell you now. First of all, it gives you perspective on what actually is going on. I can't tell you how many times I felt, or I said felt, and my feelings are valid, but they're not always factual. But I felt like, oh, there's just a lot coming up this week. Oh my goodness, it's a lot going on. And I sit down to preview my week and I'm like, oh, now that I kind of see how it lays out, how I have it ordered, I feel a lot better about what felt like a lot of weight. It gives me a proper perspective of what's really about to happen or what's coming up. It also gives you information. Maybe you planned too much for a week and you need to kind of do some readjusting and some evaluation of that. Or maybe you need to proactively remove some things that you have planned somewhere else. Or maybe you need to plan extra rest before and or after a really full week, day, month, even before you're thrust into a month or a week. And then you feel attacked by life and events as they happen to you. We want to be proactive in previewing our weeks so that we're not beat up by life as we keep going through every day, every week, and every month. Okay. So that we don't forget things like the bake sale, the soccer game, the field trip, the birthdays that we felt like I had no idea about because we preview our weeks every week and we're going to know what's coming up. Okay. So if you're ready to learn about that, let me know in the comments by saying, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Just like that, 3 times. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Let's talk about, we're going to start with the months and talk about this 4 letters that I have to help you. Before we talk about the month, I want to share with you the resources that I use and tell you why I use them so you can figure out what works best for you. So the tools that I use when it comes to previewing my month are my Best Today planning pad. And I'm going to tell you why I use this. And you can find any resource that will do this for you if you don't want to use ours. But essentially what this does, you need something that's going to let you see the full month. So you can see every day in the month. What I love about ours is it has the place at the top for focus. We're going to talk about that. It also has the check boxes. So if you're doing a consistency challenge, as we are in our membership, or if you're tracking any type of habit or routine, you have those check boxes. And what I love is ours also comes with 2 of every month. So if you want one for you, one for your child, one for the fridge, one for your office, one for work, one for life, you have that option. And then you also have the free space every month to kind of get all those things out of your mind that you're thinking about for the month to come. So I use our planning calendar, and there are a few of these still left online at besttodayguide.com. And I also use and yes, all of our months begin with Monday. All of our calendars begin with Monday. We want you to think, because we preview on Sunday, I want you to think in terms of Monday onward. Okay. So all of our products are Monday through Sunday. Okay. These are available on our website 24/7. And I'm going to show you two different sides. Our monthly preview calendars that you can print. And the beautiful thing about this is once you order it once, you can print it a million times. I print it twice because I like to have a smaller size. Sometimes last year or this year, 2021, I use this for content planning, but you can print it as big or as small as you want. This is 11 by 17. As you see, it has for every week a place for focus. And then you can also just print it at your computer at home and print it out smaller. So this, again, is available for download. We keep this online all year round. And so you can download these, print them at home or print them at any type of office space. And I love having these, another way you can have an overview of your month. So those are the two tools that I use. But the key component is you want something that lets you see your entire month. Same thing for weeks. What I use for our weeks, of course, is our Best Today guide. Our Best Today guide, it has the two sections, to clear your mind and then the actual week. And I'm going to talk about all about how to use this as when we talk about our weeks. And I also have and use our weekly preview pads. We have two types. One that mirrors exactly the Best Today guide, like I just showed you. It mirrors it exactly. And then one that mirrors the 2 pages of the Best Today guide, in that it has a clear your mind section and then your days of the week. I use all 3 depending on the type of week. And I know a lot of you who may not use the Best Today guide or may not feel ready for the Best Today guide, you can decide, is it helpful for you to have one that has the clear your mind space? And we're going to talk about that when we get to the week, or one that just has the days of the week. And of course, at the top, a place for your focus and truth for the week. Okay. Those are the tools and resources I use, essentially something that lets you overview your week and overview your month. Okay. I see a lot of I'm ready. So let's get ready. Okay. So here is our acronym that we need to remember today. TONE. 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 Write tone in the chats. TONE. TONE. This is what we want to remember when we're previewing our months and our weeks. We're going to start just talking about our month. So tone, when we're talking about previewing your month. The T stands for tone. Well, there you go. Tone or theme. And what I mean by that is, but when I go down and I sit down to preview my month, so I'm looking at my month now. Let's say this is June 2022. I'm going to sit down and I'm looking over it. The first thing I want to do, and there's space, like I said, again, at the top of our monthly here, is I want to think about, what's the tone for this month? What's my focus? What am I really focused on? What do I want to feel in this month? How do I want this month to flow? Let's set the tone for the month, or a theme. Like, is this a month of reentry, a month of rest, a month of, I really need to be intentional because it's jam-packed. This is a month of entering into summer, exiting out of summer. What is that theme, that tone that you want to set for that month based on what you know when you go to preview it, right? So that's the first thing. What do you want to feel? What's your focus? How is it that you want this month to flow? Answering that, and you can put it in your own words, but that's the first thing I want you to do, because as you're going to learn, if you're new to me, when we talk about planning and routine, like I said at the very beginning of this, we're talking about things that center you, how you feel, how you want to feel, what you want life to feel like and experience in this month. We're not machines. So we're not saying, I'm going to talk about how much productivity I will have. I'm going to get 500 things done. We're not doing that. Okay. So the first thing is really setting that tone for the month, that theme, the feel, the focus for the month. O stands for o'clocks. This is what I call all of those things that have specific dates, times. So your meetings, your appointments, those things where you have agreed with another human or yourself to be at a certain place at a certain time. I call those your o'clocks. Write those down, because those are the things that are kind of almost pillars or in stone. So that's the first. The second thing I do, for me, that means I go to my digital calendar, which is kept by my assistant, and she makes sure every day is on there, and I just transfer them from digital to paper. I love paper. I respect that we live in a digital world, that we have all these apps and technology, but I promise you, if you struggle with consistency, if you struggle with actually doing the things you say you're going to do, write write more. I'm not saying throw away the apps. Like I said, we use the app because it's very helpful for everyone to stay on the same page. I can be away from my house. I can be away from the country and add something to that digital calendar and it's there. But every month I am going in and I'm writing it down on paper. Okay. So making sure we don't have any questions. Great, don't see any. So the O clocks, these are again, dates, time, events, meetings, appointments, things with specific times. Now, if you have something and you're like, well, what about things that are kind of there, but they're tentative? Here's what I do for those. If they're tentative, I put two little tick marks on the side of them. So almost like two V's, like the greater than, less than symbols. I put that around it. That lets me know this is tentative. This hasn't been solidified. And once it's solidified, I circle it. And if it ends up being canceled, I scratch right through it, right? So that I'm also aware of what's there that's not completely finalized yet. But you can also mark that space in case it does become complete. So those are your O clocks. That's the O. Next is the N. What is necessary? Now, what is necessary that aren't o'clocks, right? So, of course, you have your meetings, those times, appointments, dentist appointments, deadline for X project at work. This is due this day. This is the meeting for X, Y, or Z. Those things are your o'clocks because they're a specific time, but there's some things that are necessary that you get to decide when, where, and how they're going to happen. That's what we're going to put in next. And I want you to think in terms of also, do I need to put in some time where I'm going to say, this is a whole rest day? This is a day where I'm not allowed to pick up my phone. This is a day I'm not allowed to get in my car. I'm not allowed to do this, or I want to do this. What are those things you need for your health? Maybe it's this is the day I'm going to order the next batch of our meat for our groceries. This is when school's closed. This is when our office at work is closed. This is when I want to work on this home project or a work project, but it's not an o'clock because it doesn't have a specific date or time. Those are your necessary things. That's the third thing that we're going to do. We're going to set the tone. We're going to write out our o'clocks. Then we're going to go in and add what is necessary. Okay. And then E is we're going to evaluate what we have done. When you evaluate and you look now that you've written down, this is how I want to feel. Here are all the things that are o'clocks, and then here's what's necessary. Do you see that there's some conflict between how you want to feel and what you see right now? Like, I said this was supposed to be a calm, but I'm recovering. Maybe you just came recovering from being sick or from traveling or really heavy work season or really heavy life season. And this is supposed to be like a recovery month. But when you look down, it does not reflect recovery. That's why we're going to always evaluate. We're not just going to dump things down and say, well, there's the month. E is very important. As with every acronym, I always teach every letter matters. So with evaluate, do we need to move something around? Do I need to cancel something? Is this too much? Or do I have more availability than I thought? And now I can actually go in and add some things I wanted to do, but didn't think I had the time. Are there days where you may want to get more granular? So when I'm previewing my month, I don't get really granular. And what I mean by that, I'm not writing down a lot of like, I'm going to do this at 3 o'clock. I'm going to do that at whatever o'clock. That's not an o'clock. I don't get granular until we move into the week, because think about it this way. When you're previewing your week, you're looking at like standing on top of a mountain. You're looking at what's for the next 30 days. When we're looking at our week, it's very close by. Like this is what's about to happen starting the next day, right? This is what's closer by, and we'll get more granular there. So with your month, we're just talking about like the more big picture things. And when you're evaluating, if there are places where you may want to get granular on certain days, feel free to do that. But I like to save getting granular, like meaning into the details, for when I'm previewing my week. So that's our tone. T, set the tone. What is the tone or the theme, your focus for that month? O, what are your o'clocks? N, what is necessary? That's not an o'clock. And then evaluate. Do we need to move things around? Does this look like how I want this month to look? Have I learned something that now I can say, you know what? Next month, I'm going to make sure we never do this again. I didn't like the way that felt last month, and so we're going to change this. Okay, so does that make sense? If it makes sense, let me know in the chat, because y'all are quiet, but that's good. Maybe you're taking notes. That is how we're going to preview our month every single month. TONE, setting the tone for our month with TONE. Okay. Any questions? I'm going to pause for a second, see if we have questions. If not, we're going to talk about how we're going to do this for previewing our weeks. We're going to invite one little letter, lots of notes. Okay, great. You're taking notes. Excellent. Okay. Now, when we talk about previewing our week, We started with our month. So when I go down to when I sit down to preview my week, I have opened the month. And the month again has those o'clocks already there. I go again, I reference our digital as well. Okay. So I reference the digital, and the first thing so we have the month already done. That's expansive. For the week, we're going to introduce one new letter, C. We're going to C tone. C tone. The C stands for clear your mind. If you're a Best Today Guide user, you know that. So in the Best Today Guide, when you preview your week, you have this 2-page spread. This page here is the clear your mind. You get this every single week. I think you guys can hear me with this over my face. You get this every single week. Before you start getting over here, you know how the weekend has come and you start thinking about all the things that's coming up, how you feel, what you think is due, what's important. Oh, I had this idea to do this thing. That is where you're going to clear your mind here. So we're going to clear your mind, and then tone for the week. So clear your mind. And I will say, for those of you who like the idea of having that clear your mind space, you're going to love, but maybe you're not a Best Today Guide user, our weekly preview pad. This is the clear your mind version that has that same clear your mind space. And then you have your week. Okay. So C tone. C stands for clear your mind. Clear your mind, get all the things that you're thinking about. It doesn't even have to even relate to this week. Sometimes it's just a moment of clearing your mind so that you start previewing your week from a place of clarity and where your shoulders have dropped and the anxiety levels are low, particularly if you feel like, oh, this week is coming up. You clear your mind first. And I actually use the clear your mind section throughout the entire week. Ideas, thoughts that come to mind, I use that to clear my mind all week long. Okay. Toby says, clear your mind is goal for me. That's the weekly pad that she has. Yes, I know a lot of our teachers love clear your mind as well. They like to put notes over there. One teacher I know, she uses that for her attendance records. So I know the clear your mind is really popular. If you're not using the Best Today Guide, the clear your mind weekly pad is really popular for people who like to kind of jot down ideas throughout the week, but you don't want it on 17 sticky notes and you've lost them. You want it all in one place. And that's the beauty of either, like I said, the Clear Your Mind Weekly or the Best Today Guide, because it's right. You have it with you all the time. I love because my Best Today Guide, because I have my I was actually just this week looking back at Clear Your Mind like 3 weeks ago, making sure I kind of scratched through all the things that I've been thinking about the last few weeks. And it's always in one place, which is what I love. Okay, so we're going to C tone for the week. C, clear your mind. Then T, we're going to do the same thing, but now from a week perspective. So now we're not kind of looking over on top of one of the hills in a mountain. I would say the top of the mountain might be if we're looking at our year. We'll talk about that another time. The next like peak in a mountain, a little lower, we're looking over our month. Now we're standing on this small little hill, and our destination is right here. Here's the destination. We're just going to go down the hill, and we're right at the village where we want to be. Okay, so now we're previewing our week because that's really close up. Like this is real time. It's about to happen. So tone looks like and this is, you can be even more just like detailed because it's about to happen. What is your primary focus this week? Everything can't be the primary focus this week. Things are going to happen and you're going to do things and accomplish things that have nothing to do with your primary focus, but still create a primary focus. Because when everything breaks loose in the week, not always, but sometimes, you can go back and say, this is what I define as the most important this week. So if nothing else gets done, this is the thing. Or if nothing else is highlighted, this is the thing. And it's not always a to-do. Your primary focus for the week can be to stay calm, to stay at peace, not to, whatever, insert. So it can also be about your being. And that's with everything I say. Everything I say, it does not have to be a thing that one must do. It can be a thing that just relates to what you need for you in that week. Because some weeks it's like, if I can just not yell at all, if I can not get frustrated, if I can maintain a positive outlook and perspective, if I can still smile by the end of the week, that for me looks like success. That's the win for me this week. You get to define that, but that's going to be that T, setting the tone for your week. And again, in your Best Today Guide, that is at the top where it says, this week I'm primarily focused on, and then even by the end of the week, I will have. And again, that does not have to be a to-do, so to speak, type thing. Okay. Then we're going to go to our o'clocks. This is where it's getting real. Like we look at our o'clocks and we're like, this is what's on the calendar. Can you imagine what I wrote down on Sunday? I wrote down 1:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be right here teaching this class live. That was an o'clock. And today is a day where I have a lot of o'clocks. It's an o'clock heavy day for me today. But o'clocks, again, are where are those specific places in time, your meetings, your appointments, things that maybe you wrote down today. This was an o'clock for you at 1:30. I'm going to be here to watch this live. Thank you for that, by the way. So those are your o'clocks. You're going to do the same thing, but now it's talking about what's actually about to happen in real time with your weeks. Then we go to necessary. So unlike for the month, the necessary could kind of be more broad. For the week, your necessaries are more granular. So for me, that looks like I write down my workouts. I put those right in, looking at my actual best today guide. So I'm looking at, my best today guide for this week. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. But I've written down what our meals are, and I've already planned this. I plan our meals on Fridays, and I plan it for the whole week. We have a whole thing teaching you how to do that. But I write in what those meals are, and I also write out my workouts. Again, I'm going to repeat this. Writing things down. If you are not consistent in anything, start writing it down. That is a start. What happens is you're making connection between your brain and your hand. It's the difference almost between swiping a debit card, or a credit card. It's just like no one thinks when they do this anymore. It's just right, or tapping or whatever, putting your thumbprint. Then versus someone giving you cash, and there's just a little more thought between like I am physically handing you my actual hard-earned cash. That we don't think that same way when we just do this or just press a button or press a thumb and say order. It's similar to that. When we're writing, our brain is taking notice of what we're writing, and it is going to help you. It makes it much more likely that it increases the percentage over 50% that what you're writing is going to get done. It also helps you to start getting that practice. You have a physical way of practicing being proactive. So for me, those necessaries are workouts, meals. For you, it can be whatever that looks like for you, what your ends are in the week. But those are two things I write down every week. So I can also look and say, okay, this is what we're having for dinner here. Here's the workout I'm going to do there. Those are my ends for the weekly preview. And then evaluate. Is there a day that's really heavy? What can you move around? Or can you make a note and say, I never want to do that again. I don't want to have a day that looked like last Thursday. I don't want to do XYZ. Can you then say, you know what? I take a call every day of the week. Can I only say I only take calls on Thursdays? Can I now say on Fridays or when I run errands, rather than every day I'm out, I have to go run to Target. I have to go run and do this. Can I say when I'm previewing my week, can I consolidate and batch like things on like days? These are the days I do errands. These are the days for calls. These are the days for meetings. You're going to find yourself, what happens is you become a better master, architect, painter, creator, crafter of your time. And you start looking for ways where you can be much smarter with the decisions that you make as it relates to your time. The more you begin to preview, you start to see these things and you're like, okay, the way this puzzle is set up doesn't make sense. I'm going to move it and do this. And then you try that out and you say, okay, I like that. I'm going to tweak this. That's what that evaluate is. So evaluate isn't something you just do once. It is a constant evaluation without being a lot of work of just trying to figure out what works best for you and your time and your schedule in the season that you're in. Okay. Any questions about that? That is how we're going to C-tone our weeks. We tone for the month and we C-tone for our weeks. And some could say they want to C-tone for the month. Please feel free to do that. The reason I typically say I don't C-tone is because I take it and I break it down through the week, because that's usually for me and what I found for others where they really are weighing heavy on the things that are to come when it feels a lot more present. Okay. Such good info. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. Let's go over tone one more time. The T stands for the tone or the theme for your month or week. How do you want to feel? What's the focus for this month or this week? What's most important? Like we're really kind of setting the tone for the week with that T. O are your o'clocks. What are those specific dates, times, events, meetings, scheduled things where you have made agreement with yourself or someone else that at this date and at this time, I will be here doing this thing. So those again are your meetings, your appointments, those events, the things that have an o'clock associated with it, like a time. Okay. And then your N are your necessary things, the things that aren't o'clocks, but they are necessary for your month or for your week. And for me, I gave the example of for my weeks, I like to write in my meals because those are necessary. We have to eat. And also my workouts. Those are two things that I add into my necessaries when I am previewing my week. And then E is evaluate. I want you to get into a habit of not just saying, okay, well, I wrote everything down and that's just what it is. Have you actually matched that against the things that you need for your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health? Do you look at your schedule and you're like, there is no time for me? There is no time in here for me to make connection with the people I love. There is no time in this for me to make connections with myself. There is no time for me to do something that means a lot to me, like maybe cooking means a lot to you, or baking, or going getting outside. That's what evaluate is for you to now evaluate and not take as is, because your calendar isn't the boss, you are. And you can tell your calendar, you don't reflect what matters to me. You don't reflect how I want to live this week, this month. And so I have to do something about it. So that's where you come in the evaluate, because a lot of the other stuff will also at T, it's called the U sandwich. The T, you get to decide the tone. The other things, the O's have probably been figured out by someone else, and maybe even some of your N's. But the E and the T, you are coming in with that me sandwich that I talk about and saying, I'm going to now make sure what I have written down matches the tone, the feel, and actually has prioritized the things that matter to me. And if it hasn't, and these things are set, here's how I'm going to recover and make sure that they are the next time or next week or next month. Does that make sense? Okay, I struggle with my weeks being so similar because I don't have any big projects at home or work. That's not okay. Then where's the struggle? Because your week doesn't have to look like my week. Some people have the exact same day. They're like Groundhog's Day. Every day they wear the same outfit, they eat the same meals, they go the same route, they see the same people. And if that works for you, fantastic, amazing. It doesn't have to look like someone else's. And you don't have to have big projects at home or work. You can say, and what might be a big project to you may not be a big project to someone else. I tend to lose steam writing things down because it feels not necessary. Yeah, again, perhaps this is a fantastic opportunity for you to figure out, what do I want to fill my empty spaces with? And really take the time to sit with that. And you get to decide, do I want to take up a new hobby? Do I want to use this to read? Do I want to use it to write? Do I want to find a cause that I really care about that maybe I can see how can I lend some of my talents to? Do I want to just sit on the couch and do absolutely nothing? You get to decide that. I get a lot of pop-up meetings or fires to put out scheduled the week that I have to go to or tend to. How do I handle the chaos? If you know that that is something that happens consistently with you, then you need to plan for that. And here's what I mean by plan for that. If I know, okay, I work for someone who constantly is going to call me and be like, hey, we have a surprise meeting in 3 minutes. That meeting's going to be 3 hours. First of all, that's a conversation about boundaries later. But second of all, and by boundaries, I just mean an understanding of like the job, the work. Is this a constant thing that I should plan for? And so that means you're probably not going to fill your days with a lot of back to back to back, because you need the nuance and the space to allow for those things to happen. And let's say a day happens and it didn't happen. Okay, now we'll just pull and do the next thing. But if it did, you've made space for that. Because sometimes some people's work environments are so chaotic, but it becomes like repeated chaos that you can almost expect it. And so again, aside from the conversation about boundaries and clear expectations and understanding of how things are done, the way you deal with that when you're previewing your week is you leave the space for it. So you may have a list of tentative results and outcomes. We're not talking about days yet. We'll do that in another video. But you may have results and outcomes, but some of those are tentative because you know something else may come up that someone says is more important at the time. And I think that happens with all of our work, including with us. I may get an idea about something and on Monday and say on Wednesday, hey, let's shelve these two things because this just came up and it's more important. But I also don't say, but do everything that we're supposed to do in this new stuff. So being able to understand how to prioritize what's 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Says at least weeks I'm working, but the time is unpredictable. Hours vary. Okay. All right. Any questions? That is how we preview our months and our weeks, and we set the tone. If you have a question, go ahead and put it over here in the chat now. If you have a question and you're watching on the replay, put it in the comments below, and we will answer you. We will answer every single question. We see every single comment that is left to us. I want to show you the resources again. If you would like to get those resources to get started, our monthly planning pad will be the first thing to be sold out. So if you're watching this and it's still available, you can get it online again at besttodayguide.com for your months. You also, and this will always be available for you, your download. This is the monthly download. We also have a 6-month and a 12-year download as well. We'll be talking, maybe we'll talk about the year soon, but you can get these downloads that print big or small. For your week, you're going to want your Best Today guide. I'll pull a clean one because mine is just lots of words today. Your Best Today guide, which is our 14-week undated guide. In case you're not familiar with this, we have a whole playlist here on YouTube that talks about it. We have a video that walks you through it on our website as well. Or you want the weekly preview pads that come in 2 styles, Clear Your Mind, and then the one that mirrors the Best Today guide. We'll link to all of these resources below as well. But the key is you want to be able to overview your month and your week. Is really important. Okay. Also, if you're listening to these resources and you're like, I don't know where to start, you're not alone. We have a quiz on our website at besttodayguide.com/quiz, which we will also link below. You can take that and it will tell you based on your answers, we will custom pick for you. This is the product for you to get started with. Okay. So I'd also love to hear from you, those of you who are here now and watching the replay. What other planning or routine videos do you want to see us teach you here on our YouTube channel? Let us know in the comments, whether you're watching live or in the replay. And if that's it, I'm going to let you all go and be proactive and intentional with your time. Today, the day of this live video is December 1st. It is a fantastic time to pull out December and use it to tone. T-O-N-E, okay? Use it to tone. It's not too late if you want to C-tone your week. We want to do that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I prefer Sunday because it's right before we begin that week. You can C-tone, but make sure, I'm going to start asking you guys who are on our tech squad, have you C-toned for the week, okay? Seeing no questions, and I know there's a slight delay, so I'll pause a little bit to see if there are any questions. If not, I want to leave you with this reminder that I share on our podcast every single week, just to remind you, know that you are capable and worthy of being proactive and intentional with your time. And it's my great joy to help you in that journey right where you are. I promise you, you don't have to be type A to do this type of thing. You don't have to be quote unquote organized. You don't have to be a quote unquote planner. We create resources for humans, for women, all ages and stages of life. There is no one personality type or Enneagram number that this works better or less better for. So if you're listening to this and you can hear me, if you can read the captions, these products will help you. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining us live. If you think of other questions, you can always either post them in our community, which you can join at besttodaycommunity.com. You can also text us in our text squad at 404-737-1002, or leave a comment below and we will get back to you. Okay, I'm going to make sure, seeing no questions. You can learn about every resource that I mentioned here on our website at besttodayguide.com. And I will let you get back to your day. Be proactive and intentional, y'all. And remember to do it with self-awareness and self-love along the way. I told my husband to do himself a favor and study your Instagram. Wonderful. Or you can bring him over here to the Best Today Guide YouTube channel or website. All of our resources are readily available wherever you enjoy consuming information that will help you. All right, everybody, don't forget, if you have not already, if you're watching this and you're not on our email insider list, go to besttodayguide.com/email so you can get our emails. If you want to be in our text squad and get text reminders like they were text today, a reminder about this live, you can text 404-737-1002. But the very best place to go for all the things is besttodayguide.com. I'll see you guys on the next live video. Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Tamika says this was so good. Thank you. Go and tone for the month of December or whenever you're watching this. All right. Bye, everybody.